G'day guys, welcome back. So poor old youth's been put aside for a little bit. Had a few other projects on the go and other things have taken priority. So I've decided that, Fridays is coming up and about 2 weeks. So I really want to get the ute ready for it and go and do some skids. So I hurt the engine about 12 months ago. Something happened in the EFI and it leaned out and chewed the end off one of the spark plugs. So the bit of spark plug that it chewed off then played pinball inside the motor. So that cylinder, the cylinder wall and the piston copped a fair bit of damage, as well as the combustion chamber on the head. So we gone ahead, rebuilt it. So the motor specs are pretty similar to before. It's the same cast iron LY6 block. It's the same dart billet crank, same Compstar rods. It runs new CP pistons. They've got an upgraded pin and whatnot in them. I did put the upgraded, I think they're a 2000 series rod bolt or L19. It's got an upgraded rod bolt in it anyway, from what I used to have. And the only other change is it now has CNC ported Pavtec 241 heads with BTR shaft mount rockers. So, it's also got stainless valves and whatnot in it. Anyway, for the most part, the combination is very much the same. 6 psi boost. It does have ported heads and rockers and whatnot, but otherwise the engine's the same. Same gearbox, diff, 292 gears. It's all the same, really. The only other change is we're going to take it off methanol and go back to E85. This definitely seemed like a backward step, especially in the burnout world. But I've been having a lot of issues with the reliability of the methanol. Just blocked injectors and just not being able to get it right. So just for my own, I'm just going to turn it back to E85, and I had good luck with the 85. I'll just work on something else for the cooling aspects of the car. So what we'll do is we'll kick it outside and probably give it a bit of a bath. She's filthy. It's been under a car cover for quite a few months now. And then we'll get it on the trailer and get it off and get it tuned and get ready for Fridays. So definitely pretty keen to get out there and blow some tyres. All right, so let's get this happening. And 604 horsepower is our result. So we're about 35 horsepower up from before when we were on E85. That'll mainly be because of the cylinder heads. Everything else in the combination's very, basically the same. So anyway, so let's fire it up and appreciate the reason that we spend all these money on blower cars. Stop pipeline. There's still more under there. Oh, always something. Looks like the alternator's packed it in. Of course, just as we're about to load it. So I'll quickly get that yanked off. I mean, probably lucky I've got a couple of other LS powered cars here. We can swap an alternator off. All right, I'll get this done. Battery's only charging, well, it's not charging, so it's 11 volts. So definitely a problem. Should be charging like 13.8, 14.0 or something. So, all right, I'll go ahead and get that undone and swapped over. Might still want the yellow VL. Righto. Okay guys, so we're back home now. Pretty good weekend, but we did have some alternator issues. So we managed to get one burnout out, but it was far from perfect. And then I just did a bit of laps and left it at that. So issue we're having, the alternator is dropping out at 4,700 revs and not charging. So that will cut voltage to the fuel pumps and then sends the car lean, and then the computer kicks in and computer says no. So I'll put the burnout footage in here. It was awesome fun, but yeah, the car's not right. I mean, you'll hear the noise. I got to take my daughter for a skid, and that's all I cared about. But the car's okay, so everything's all good. Just need to figure this charging issue out. So we did have this issue on the dyno. We diagnosed it as a crappy alternator and thought we'd just swap it out. Not quite sure what the issue is now, so it's got another alternator on it. As you've seen earlier, I changed. And I'm not sure. Yeah, we're just trying to figure it out. If the alternator's still charging up to 4,700, I'm not really sure what's going on. But as soon as the RPM drops below that, it starts working again. So just a pain in the butt, really. Anyway, so I'll figure it out. But yeah, I'll put in some burnouts from the other cars on the night, obviously, because I didn't get a lot of footage of this car, only the one burnout. So I will put the burnout that I did do in. But yeah, it's not one of my best attempts, but we'll post it anyway. Daughter had fun, that's all that matters. All right, so I'll post the other videos of the other cars that I did get. And yeah, fantastic weekend.